What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So the Punisher came out over the weekend. I was away on a holiday with my family, so I've come back, binged watched it, and now I'm ready to do a review for it. And I gotta say, like on the level of obviously we've got the Defenders group that we've had all these shows for Daredevil 2 seasons, Luke Cage 1, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. This is right up there. This one, it's got its own thing. It's got its own feel to it, which all of them do. All of them have their own sort of style. But really, we got like the teaser in Daredevil season 2, right? When Punisher showed up in season 2, damn, and everyone was like, we need more. We need more. Because John Bernthal, he's an amazing Punisher. He's so good. I love this. I think it worked out freaking fantastic. I really enjoyed this, and it is brutal in places. It really is. And you get to the point where you're like, how much more blood do you have? Seriously, you cannot get shot anymore. Like, there's just nothing, there's no part on his body where he has not been shot or stabbed or mutilated in some way. It's unbelievable what he goes through. Absolutely unbelievable. And it makes for, it makes for an interesting story. And they did a good job with that. They definitely... Yeah, it wasn't an origin story because this is after season 2, so we've seen him become the Punisher and all the rest of it. Like it's it's not that. It's you see what drove him to be, and then what's within the flashbacks and stuff, and they do a lot of this stuff with him being a soldier and what he did, and and that's a big reason why he's for the big reason about the bad guys and like who he's going after in this. But it is, it's a good way of showing, why does he think this way? Why is he the way he is? And stuff like that. Obviously, this show touches on a lot of sensitive political things, like a lot of sensitive stuff like that. I'm not getting into that. This is not what my channel's about. I'm about the superhero stuff. I'm about the show itself, not the the gun control stuff, the all that stuff. I'm not getting into that, okay? But it is a part of this show, and I'll definitely say that. Like it makes you think. It makes you think a lot, and the show does that, and it will not sit well with a lot of people. With some people, it won't. It won't sit well. I mean, it shows a lot of gun violence. It shows a lot of violence in general. And you're always going to get that with the Punisher. The Punisher, he's not your typical goody two-shoes superhero. He's an anti-hero. He's not Deadpool, who's funny and has swords and he's wisecracking everywhere. He's not. He's a damaged individual. And I mean, they tap into vets that come back and they don't have places in society and things like that. And, what is the government doing about that and things like that? So this show taps into a lot of that stuff. And I mean, I'm not doing the whole debating thing with all that stuff. That's not why I do these reviews. It's just not. I'm into, was this a good show? Was the story good? Stuff like that. But just saying that this stuff is in there, and they make it a focus, but it's not an overpowering focus, and they know what this show is, and what it's about, and the Punisher maintains the focus of everything through this. So they did a good job at doing the balancing act on that. So, like I said, John Bernthal, just fantastic, and I honestly it's a shame that they'll probably just keep these characters to the Netflix series and not let them go out into the, the Marvel universe that they've created. Because it's all connected. They are in that Marvel universe with the Avengers and all that. But it's a shame that they won't probably let them get out there in any way. I would love to see him interact with some of the big guns. Like the big stuff. I would love to see him interact with some of the big stars in the Marvel. universe, like Captain America and stuff like that. It would, especially like Spider-Man and all that, because that's in the comics and stuff. You know, Punisher comes along in certain Spider-Man episodes and stuff. So that would be cool. That would be cool to see. And I think John's done a great job and would deserve that. He honestly would deserve that. And like that with with the others too. I would like to see Matt interact with a lot of the others. Because Daredevil, he interacts with a lot of the big Marvel characters and stuff like that. So I would love to see it. Will it happen? Probably not. But John's definitely done a good job here. He's very good at what he does. He's a very good at what he does. And it's not like, the Punisher is this, multi-emotional guy. He has a pretty one-set mind, thing. And I will say that they did tone it down a little bit. He doesn't go off and just kills everyone. A lot of the people that he does go through this as well. Like, there are moments where he doesn't want to kill people. And he understands that he only kills the bad guys. He doesn't kill the good guys. He knows who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And the bad guys, there's no mercy. But where there's, the good guys, he'll make sure that they're protected, and they'll make sure that, if he has to hurt someone who is only doing their job, and there are moments through this story where he does have to go in places where guys are just doing their job. They're not bad guys. They're just, unfortunately, protecting a bad guy, and they just don't know it. He tries his best not to hurt them in any way. And they do that. So they had toned him down where he was willing to kill everyone in their way, which I think is a bit of a growth thing that they went through. Like, he went through that stuff with Karen and Daredevil and all that, and he kind of knows that he can't go around just shooting everyone. But that doesn't, obviously that doesn't completely stop him. So story-wise, I felt the story was good. It lagged in places, which a lot of these Netflix series shows do. Like, there are down episodes, and there are like the highlight episodes, and you go through them all, and you understand that will happen. But for me, like, going through all of it all worked very well. And there are multiple bad guys through this, and it all links through this one, like, all through his past, and it's all to do with his family's death, and his family's death, the chain keeps growing. But I do think that they are finally done with that. But it definitely, it keeps playing on it. It keeps growing, that whole mystery behind their death and stuff keeps going that way. And they do bring in more bad guys through that. One being Billy Rousseau, who is a Punisher villain. And he sort of gets his villain origin story here, which is quite cool. I liked what they did. I liked what they did there. And the bad guys were interesting. Well, one of them was. The other one was a big sort of... It's kind of a little bit of a bait and switch near the end, of where the bad guys fell into place. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the bad guys quite a lot. I thought they were quite good. Especially Billy. Billy was definitely the highlight there. So the Punisher actually gets a bit of an ally in this one, and it's a guy who's going through the same thing as him. But he's someone who can get his family back. And that's David. That's David Lieberman, but he goes by Micro. He's like a hacker and stuff. He was an NSA analyst, and he basically saw something he was not supposed to see. And he got killed for it, but didn't die. So now he's in hiding. He's a ghost, just like Frank is. And he's, even his family thinks he's dead, and he wants Frank to help him take down the guys, because the same bad guys that killed his family and now are after him as well. And there's a lot of that stuff going on. And I think David was nice, because it brought in like someone to say, whoa, that who isn't Karen, right? And Karen is in this as well, and we'll get to Karen. But David was nice because he was like, just like, whoa, dude, killing everyone is not what we need right now. We need information. So how about we not kill him just yet, and then get this, then you can kill him. Like, he was a bit of a conscience, the voice of conscience, the voice of calm, just to bring Frank back a little bit sometimes. And when you bring in David's family, which Frank interacts with quite a lot through this story, it was nice because you see Frank go into family man mode. He has that a soft side to him. And they tinkered around with Frank kind of, David's wife kind of liking Frank for a little bit there. And, they kind of bond over the fact that they've lost their family, family members and stuff. But obviously they don't go full into that. And they, eventually David does get his family back. But, I liked it because they were two people that were going through the same thing, but doing it in different ways. And they were doing it the ways that they know how. Frank is a soldier. He's been taught that way. He's, he knows how to fight a war, and he treats the death of his family like a war. David is a hacker, so he uses every skill that he's got hacking to find out information. He's all about information and figuring out what's going on, so he used that. So they're a nice pair up. They're a nice pair up there, and it gives, a bit of brains behind the brawn type thing, And Frank just doesn't go out there and just shoots anyone. It's a more focused thing. And there is a bit of a, they would never say they were friends, and Frank would never say that they're friends, but, he gets attached to his family, to David's family. He wants to protect them. He wants to help them. The kids are going through a hard time, and he, tries to help the son out. And, the son's going through some rough stuff. And I think he kind of takes them on as I couldn't help my family, so I'm going to help theirs sort of thing. And he goes through a lot of pain for that family. So it was good. It was a good thing to see. I think he was a good addition into that. I think if you didn't have David, it would be I think the lighter side of this story would not come through so much. Then you got Madani, who was the Homeland agent, and to me, she was a little annoying in places. She really was. She, she's on the hunt for, basically on the hunt for the bad guys that Frank is after, but she wants to do it by the book, right? She wants them to go to, trial, get guilty, prison, all the rest of it. Even though she's not quite understanding how powerful these people are. Typical police officer, goes in there by the book and thinks that it's all going to happen, the way that it would usually happen. But these guys are on a completely different level. And there are multiple times throughout this entire, story where she sends her own people in, like Homeland agents who, they're probably more they're more trained than, they're like SWAT for police, right? They're kind of on that level. But they're going up against like Black Ops guys, and they have no chance whatsoever. And like the entire teams that she sends in gets killed, and she gets hurt multiple times, and she loses people, and it goes through a lot of stuff that way. And in the end, she becomes a bit of an ally for Frank, and they kind of, she kind of sees Frank as the ends to the means. Like, I can't get these people by the book, so now I have to just let Frank go and let him do what he does. And hopefully we can pick up the, maybe pick up the dust or pick up the pieces and put them back together, and maybe get some semblance of, by the book justice. But it gets in places. But yeah, she was okay, but she was your typical, agent just over her head, trying to do everything by the book, and it just wasn't happening. Then you had Karen. Karen was in this, so now she's been in pretty much all of them except for Jessica Jones. Oh no, she's been all of them. Just the Daredevil, and then Defenders, and now the Punisher. She is the love interest for Frank. She's the love interest for Frank. He's very protective of her, but not would never admit. He would never admit that he likes her, because I think he would feel very guilty, like he's moving on from his wife, which he I don't think he wants to do, but will probably happen. And Karen is that. She is not as annoying as she was in Defenders, where she was constantly going at Matt to try and change him and trying to guilt trip him into like, no, you got to be this person. You can't be Daredevil anymore and all that. She tries it a little bit with Frank, but she understands like Frank is just, he's a one-track mind. He's not going to change his mind. It's no matter what. And it's typical Karen, gets herself into trouble. She's constantly getting, like, she gets in the middle of gunfights and stuff like that. She's Karen. She's Karen from, Daredevil and all that. She doesn't change all that much. I'm not the biggest fan of her character. I'm not. Mainly for what the stuff that she's done with Daredevil and Defenders and all that. She was okay in this. So we'll see how that relationship with them develops. They're taking it slow there, which I don't mind. So the two villains in this, you had Rollins, who was like, they called him Agent Orange. He was the guy that ran the Cerberus the Cerberus team, which was the Kill Squad and stuff. Basically funded this Kill Squad on cocaine, I think, through Afghanistan, smuggling it all and all that. Top ranking guy in the CIA. I think he runs the like Black Ops side of it. Definitely you don't hear about him. He was okay. He was like your typical bad guy, rich bad guy. He had this Frank punches after one of the missions that go massively badly, and he has like Rollins has no sympathy for them in any way. Kind of calls out Frank, and Frank just nails him and leaves like an indent on his one punch, leaves an indent on the side of his face and completely blinds him in one eye. He was okay. He was okay as a bad guy. He was your typical like rich, powerful bad guy. He wasn't anything special. He was okay. He was okay. And then, like I said, with Billy Rousseau, Jigsaw, he was the more interesting one. He's the one who, basically is Frank, but doesn't have that sheer stubborn determination to live. He has all the skills, he has all the talent, he has all the stuff. He's highest Black Ops you can get, right? He's just as good as Frank, but Frank just has this will to live, this will to freaking survive through anything and to just numb the pain and go through whatever, where I don't think Billy has. Where Billy likes to use some tricks of the trade, some tricks of the thing. And by the way, he has an Assassin's Creed like blade, extending blade on his wrist. Like, I put up a tweet, I joked that he was Ezio Auditore from freaking Assassin's Creed. He's a womanizing, handsome guy, kind of suave and all that, but he was an assassin at the same time. He has a retractable blade by his wrist. I love that. I was like, yes. It was a bit of a gaming thing there, so I like that. Billy, he was good. I mean, he's not the greatest bad guy in the world, but I thought he was a good matchup for Frank. He really was. He was a good matchup. Played a little bit of mind tricks on him and stuff like that. And in the end, he has his origin story as a villain as well, which turns out to be Jigsaw, which is, you Google him and you'll see the stuff that happens to him at the end of this, the final fight between Frank and Billy. the conclusion to that, you can see why he gets called Jigsaw. Because, damn, that entire scene with him in that mirror, oh, I had to look away for a little bit because that was brutal. That was brutal, and there are brutal moments here. They really are. Oh, he was good. I thought he was good. He played well with Frank. But yeah, I mean, overall, like, I would say if you can handle the obviously the violence, there's gun violence in this. There is stuff to do with veterans coming back, not having a place, struggling with all that. There is, I would say, is some terrorism stuff. There is some tough stuff. There is some tough stuff in this that they, I think they did well. I think some might say they didn't. It's probably as good as you're going to get, I think, with these shows. If you can handle that, there are some brutal moments. I definitely say mature audiences. If you don't think that's you, probably not. Definitely not a let the kids watch sort of thing. Is definitely not that. Just be sure that you understand like what you're watching. I think that's the big thing. Is it worth the watch? And I would say yes. Hell yes, it is. If you liked the obviously all the Marvel stuff that's come out on Netflix so far, it is definitely better than like Iron Fist. It's right in there with Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones. It's right in there with them, right up there. I would put the Defenders and Iron Fist below it. It's well in there. I'm hoping for a season 2. I'd like to see a season 2 with him, kind of becoming the Punisher and becoming the Punisher more full time, doing stuff that is not related to his family's death. Just more him being that anti-hero, doing what needs to be done type thing. I would like a season 2. I think it'd be very, very, very cool. John's done enough to warrant that. I think he's a fantastic Punisher. He's done a good job. And I think they did a good job with the character itself, with the Punisher. I think they honored that IP very well. So it's worth a watch. I think it's worth you going and seeing. It's right up there with those Marvel shows, all of them that have come out. But yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.